Chumriapsua, welcome to week 3. I'm feeling really supercharged right now because I get to have some friends over today and play some music. There's kind of this ongoing humor that we all seem to share, that it's just funny that we have to ask our moms for permission to do things, like we talked about at school, like, hey, you guys want to get together and play some music? And it's like, yeah, let me ask my mom, and we'll like make some plans for there. It's just really funny, but it was really, really exciting. My mom was pretty excited to have people over. She brought out a bunch of snacks, some fruit for everybody to share, and some bottled water, and people came over for about 2 hours, and then everybody went home. So that was a great end to week number 3. So, what's been happening? The first really major thing was the community teach. So we're going to do 3 of these throughout PST. I believe it's 3. The first one was this week. So community teach is when we go into a Khmer classroom and we co-teach with one other volunteer a lesson plan that is given to us. So the lesson plan isn't given to us, but what we're teaching specifically is. So me and my partner Soria, we did a lesson for vegetables, fruits, and meats that you would buy at the market, and created a dialogue on how to buy those things at the market. The class was really engaging. They were really, really fun. They knew all the words we were teaching them, except for bean sprouts. That was maybe the only new word of the day. So that being said, they moved through the material very, very fast. It was 11th graders. And interestingly, we're all teaching the same things on the same day for community teach. So there's 3 days of community teach. On Monday, everybody teaches the same materials. Some people are in the primary school and some people are in the second material. But if their material is, I don't know, let's say cats and dogs, everybody's teaching that. And so that lesson is supposed to be tailored for primary students at the primary school and tailored for secondary students at the secondary school. It's really challenging because we don't know the level of English our students are at. We're coming into it completely blind, and we totally under-expected what they knew. So they knew a lot more than we thought, which made our lesson about 20 minutes shorter than it was supposed to be. Luckily, Soria, very intelligent, came up with a game on the fly to do at the end, and that kind of helped us get over the hump, and we still had a pretty good lesson. So I think the big takeaway was just to overplan, right? So have more than you expect that you can get done in a day, so that if you get done faster than what you think, you've got stuff in your back pocket to use if you get there. So that being said, we did our hub day this week. We pretty much started with a community presentation where each of our language groups got together and did maybe a skit or a PowerPoint show on what they're learning about community integration and living with their host families. So our group, I didn't record any of this, but we did a game show, Family Feud style. Questions like, what are the most used phrases in Khmer, or what are the best ways to integrate with your host family? And we had some fun wrong answers and some pretty solid right answers. And in the middle of it, we did a commercial for malaria prophylaxis, as well as your slow bike. So it was a lot of fun seeing what everybody put together with their certain language groups. We also got to hear from the ambassador of Cambodia from the United States. So he is the ambassador of Cambodia. He's an American, right? But he was also a Peace Corps volunteer when he was in his young 20s. So I think he was 60-something at this point, if I did my math correctly. And he did Peace Corps in Africa when he was younger. So he talked a little bit about what he does now, and then he told us some of his stories from his adventures in the Peace Corps and how just rewarding and how foundational it was, and kind of how it was such a pivotal moment for him in what he wanted to do with his life and his career. And it was really, really interesting to hear from this guy and just pick his brain a little bit. There's a Q&A afterwards, and we all got to have lunch with him following the speech. And I guess we're going to see him again at the end of PST when we swear in. So that was exciting. And then after that, we got this wonderful talk about gastrointestinal illnesses. So that's diarrhea. And that's going to happen to you. They told us week number 1 that it's very, very few volunteers who escape the clutches of diarrhea. And that's just because it comes from having a new diet and drinking new water. You know, your body's just going through all these changes and it's trying to adjust. So that is the minimalist version of diarrhea. There are also bacteria and viral infections that can cause it, and for those, you need to seek further medical assistance, depending on how tough it is. But luckily, we're pretty set up with the medical stuff. I want to go ahead and show this. So this is the medical box that you get when you start service. And I want to go ahead and show off what's inside. I don't even know half the stuff that's going on in here, but pretty much they equip you with anything they expect that might possibly go wrong. Got a pulse oximeter here. Got Dynet Hex 2, which I don't even know what that is. This is some insect repellent, some bends. Looks like sterile gauze pads. Antifungal cream. Actually started using this because I got athlete's foot pretty soon into my service. Variety of band-aids, lozenges, some kind of nasal spray, eye drops, even antibiotics, just in case. So because you're going to be in somewhere probably pretty remote, I mean, I think we're going to all be pretty close to a hospital or at least a doctor, but they just want to have you prepared. And so you can get on the phone with 2 of the doctors who are on the medical team pretty much any time of the day. Tell them this is what's going on with me, and they can walk you through what you need to do. So, yeah, that's we're pretty well taken care of. I ironically got the diarrhea that day, but I'm starting to do fine. I think I had it for 2 or 3 days, and now my poops are getting solid again. And that's another thing about the Peace Corps is you get pretty comfortable talking about your poops. Everybody has it, and we just start sharing it with each other. The final things I want to share for this week is just about host family integration. Language is starting to feel like more of a roller coaster rather than just a plateau where I'm at the bottom. So, you know, I'm starting to have some pikes of, I understand, okay, I have no idea what you're talking about, okay, I kind of got this, and now I'm back down here, which is great. I'm starting to be able to at least say some sentences and then pick out some words that I'm being told. I found something that's really helpful for me is using my book when my host mom is speaking and writing down the things that she's saying, because a lot of times I don't register the words that I do know. So if I write them down, I start to realize, oh, I do know that word, and I can kind of formulate what's being said to me. It's a slow process, but it's a functional process, and it's definitely better than just not knowing what's going on. And then finally, I've gotten to go to the rice fields. My host brother's taken me this Saturday and then the last Saturday when I come home from school, and it's a nice break from school. I get to go be in nature, and yeah, there's a lot of beautiful stuff out there. So I'm really, really excited for this week. We're a third of the way through PST now. I think it's moving a bit too quickly. I don't want this to end. It's long and it's grueling days, but you still have the support of the volunteers at this stage of the process. And I know it's going to be really good the next 2 years when I'm at site, but I'm kind of a little nervous to take that plunge and go be totally immersed in a culture where I'm the only person from my walk of the world. But it's probably going to be great. There's a reason we all done this, and there's a reason people do it again. And reason people come to Peace Corps. So I'm looking forward to that. Thanks again for watching. Jim Akun. Have a great week and a good night.